Jets or Jaguars, who will get the number one pick? Everybody knows the Jets beat the Rams 23-20. They're now at the second pick because the Jaguars hold the tiebreaker, and there's basically no chance that the Jets can get the first pick if the Jaguars have the same record as the Jets at the end of the season. Yeah. So, who's going to get the number one pick? Who's going to finish off the number one pick? I'll let you go.
Well, the odds have been flipped on their head. Coming into this week, I think the Jets had a 73% chance, and the Jaguars were on the other side of that. After this win, now the Jaguars have a 71% chance, I
think
believe.
The Jets have this 28.8% chance to get the first pick. Yeah. The Jags have a 63.8% chance to get the first pick now.
But I will say, and this is something I said to you after the game, the great thing about the NFL this season is that any given week, it seems like there could be an upset, and the Jets showed that this weekend against the Rams. Look at who the Jets or who the Jaguars have coming up. They have the Bears and the Colts week 17. Do I think they're going to get a win in either one of those games? It's not likely. The Bears have been looking better. Mitchell Trubisky has actually looked like a starting quarterback. But we talked about earlier this season, Matt Nagy has been lost with the playbook this season. So who knows how his offense is going to come out looking. And week 17, the Colts, maybe they rest their starters. They clinch the playoff berth. You just never know. But then, who knows? The Jags win a game, and then we go out and we get the Patriots week 17. We probably beat them. So now, I think the Jaguars are going to get the pick, but I don't think it's as set in stone. People were throwing a parade about how the Jets lost out on Trevor Lawrence. I don't think it's as signed, sealed, and delivered as everybody thinks it is.
This is what I'm going to say. If you've been watching the show, you know that I'm superstitious, and I've been having my superstitious moments throughout the year. I told Jack here, I think you jinxed the Jets when you said there's no way the Jets win a game. You said that, and I said, bro, I think you just jinxed the Jets. And this is for every Jets fans that thought it was a done deal. We were getting Lawrence. We were getting this. We were getting that. A couple of weeks ago, I told everybody, look, I'm not sure if they're beating the Raiders, all right? I'm not sure if they're beating the Raiders. Trust me on that. The Jets blew the game against the Raiders. We should have won that game. Needless to say, we lose regardless. And now against the Rams, I think this game was the game that every Jets fans marked up as a loss, indefinitely, because the Rams look so dominant on defense. Their offense clicks. We have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I was thinking about starting Jared Goff in fantasy. Jared Goff comes out flat. Jared Goff is one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the NFL, and I think he deserves a lot of blame for the Rams. And instead of talking about how bad the Rams played, we're talking about the Jets losing out on Lawrence. We're not even talking about their win. I think this Jets loss marks everything it means to be a Jets fan. Constant disappointment. What can go wrong will go wrong. And an old saying that a lot of people say is way to F it up. But you know what I say? Way to jet it up. That's what I say. Way to jet it up. It's just the way it goes. Hiring Adam Gase, Sam Darnold, his regression has been crazy. And now losing out on Trevor Lawrence, our former franchise quarterback, stopping us from getting our future franchise quarterback. But now on to the question, who will get the number one pick? I said it before earlier when I was talking right now. I'm superstitious. So the Jaguars will get the number one pick. And I'm saying that for my own deceitful reasons. But you look at the schedule, the Jets face the Browns and the Patriots. I think they can lose both.
It should be two losses.
The Jaguars face the Bears and the Colts. If the Colts rest their starters on week 17, they have a chance. They beat the Colts in week 1. So they have a chance. But what I want to say is that if I'm the Jaguars, I bench Minshew.
Yeah.
Because Minshew gives me the best chance to win. And everybody talks about, because I've been hearing this take around like just people that talk like us into a mic about sports, that the Jets ruined Sam Darnold and Sam Darnold couldn't save the Jets. Sam Darnold was never a great quarterback prospect. And if we're being honest, Gardner Minshew has been better than Darnold to start his career. Nobody's talking about Minshew saving the Jags. You look at right now, this year, Minshew has 16 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in 8 games started. Darnold has 6 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 10 games started. Minshew's a better quarterback. He's mistake-free. He's better in getting out the pocket and moving. He senses pressure better. Yeah, he was a late-round pick, but he's better than Darnold. So the Jaguars' best chance is to bench Minshew and have Jake Luton or not even Mike Glennon, because Mike Glennon, a veteran, is capable of winning a game. Put Jake Luton out there and let him do what he does. Get the guy who was the guy that played for the Broncos, the receiver, Kendall Hinton. You get Kendall Hinton and you tell him, okay, we gotta have you start for these 2 games. Get him out there, Kendall Hinton. They need to lose these next 2 games, and I just can't believe the Jets messed this up. They should have gone 0-16.
Let me just say something to address that point, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand this. That would be a smart decision for the Jaguars, because as much as people can look at it from their couch on Monday morning and say that teams should be losing these games and should be tanking, these guys are professionals, and there is not a single guy in an NFL locker room. There will not be a single guy on the Jaguars roster on Sunday that is thinking about Trevor Lawrence could be their quarterback next year. Every single one of them is locked in trying to win a football game, and it showed with the Jets this weekend. They didn't care that they were in line for Trevor Lawrence. Those guys are professionals. They're working hard every week for
as they should
4 months to win a football game. And, Adam Gase said it. As much as I hate Adam Gase said it in his postgame. That locker room was more excited than even the Broncos when they were on their Super Bowl run, when he was there with Peyton Manning, because that team went through so much this season. They were not trying to lose, and the Jaguars are not going to try and lose these upcoming 2 weeks. So, you put Minshew out there, like you mentioned the numbers, he's, what if people called it Minshew magic, Minshew mania the past 2 years? So who knows, he comes out and catches a game here. But I just want to mention, you brought up a good point. The Rams have got to be thanking their lucky stars that the Jets were in such a bad position with this win, because they should be embarrassed at their performance on Sunday.
You know what's the thing? When we made this segment the first time, the part 1 of this segment, I'll actually link it in this video so people can go out and watch it. I said, we know how second half Sam Darnold plays. He looks like a franchise quarterback in the second half of the season.
He did play really well.
And that's what I'm worried about. I was worried that Sam Darnold was going to come alive in the second half and cost us. Who knows if we can win one of these next 2 games? We probably could. And another thing that goes around is that people are asking this question: what's the better situation, the Jets or the Jaguars? Look, I think it's pretty much the same. I think the Jaguars have a better offensive line. Andrew Norwell, Brandon Linder, Jawan Taylor. And, Keelan Cole, Tyler Eifert, James Robinson, Chark, Chenault, they got talent, right? But I think, look, the narrative that the Jets are the worst situation and Trevor Lawrence should want to get a trade out of New York if they get the number 1 pick, I think is ridiculous. Because if you're going to say that about the Jets, say that about the Jaguars as well. Because Adam Gase is a horrible coach, but Doug Marrone has been that as well. And they have one of the worst owners in football, and Shad Khan, I think that's his name. Yeah. I know Khan is his last name, in the NFL. So if you're going to say that about the Jets, say that about the Jaguars too, even though I don't think neither should be said about either team.
Yeah, and I'll say this about the Jets, and I can say this pretty confidently. If you gave them an average head coach this season, they probably would have at least 4 wins. They beat the Rams with Adam Gase at the helm on Sunday. They would have won the Raiders game. They would have won the Patriots game earlier in the season, and that's 3 off the bat. And they've had a couple one-score games that I think they could have won had they had better coaching. It's not like they're devoid of talent.
With a tougher schedule than the Jags.
Exactly. Quinnen Williams was a Pro Bowl talent this year. I don't care if he made it or not. He should have been a Pro Bowl player, and he didn't get the recognition he deserved because he was playing for the Jets, and he dealt with injuries this season. Mekhi Becton has been incredible. I'm not trying to overstate it. He manhandled Aaron Donald on Sunday. Aaron Donald was a non-factor for that Rams defense. So, there is talent on both sides of the ball. I could keep going, and I will when we talk about it on the Jets and what they should do next. But I just can't believe, even as bad as the Rams played through 3 quarters, in the 4th quarter, they have a chance to win the game. They get to 3rd and 4. They have 2 downs to get 4 yards with 5 minutes to play. You just watched Cam Akers gashed the Jets defense for 2 huge gains. Yes, they were called back for penalties, but even the runs that weren't being called back, he was getting 4 or 5 yards of carry on that last drive, and then you get a 3rd and 4, and first of all, you dial up a wheel route going for a touchdown on 3rd down. Okay, 4th and 4, you need to get a 1st down. So what do you call a one-on-one against the best player in the Jets secondary in Marcus May with Gerald Everett to the right side of the field, where Jared Goff to the right side of the field further than 10 yards, he has a 31% completion rating this season. So how do you put your quarterback in such a position to fail at the end of the game like that? It just made no sense to me. The Rams should be embarrassed. Sean McVay, as good of a coach as he should be embarrassed with this loss. And maybe
but the offense hasn't been good all year.
No, and we talked about it. I would recommend you go back and listen to, is Jared Goff holding back the Rams? Because I think he is, and I would love to see Sean McVay with a different quarterback, because Jared Goff's inconsistencies, I mean, they were glaring on Sunday against a not good New York Jets defense. Like right now, this defense, they have pieces, but they are not in a good place.
This is the thing, Jack. I know that as Jets fans, we should have a way more emotional and passionate response to the Jets losing out on potentially the number 1 pick in Trevor Lawrence. But personally, for me, I'm used to this.
It doesn't.
I'm really used to this. So when things like this happen, it's not like I didn't see it coming. I did see it coming. I did see this happening. So that's why now I'm not shocked. I'm not like, oh man, I kind of saw this happen.
I think I said this to you on Sunday. I wasn't even as bothered by the Jets winning as much as I was just having to hear about it, because anything with the Jets becomes such a joke. If the Jaguars had the 1st overall pick and they won a game and the Jets then got it, you wouldn't have heard half as much as you had heard about the Jets when it happened to them, just because the Jets have been a bad franchise for the past decade. But, we will talk about the Jets, but I don't think that this is a nail in the coffin type situation for them. I still think there's a lot of promise there, but this offseason, now the question marks get even larger than they were, because one of the biggest question marks was, what happens at quarterback? You had your answer in Trevor Lawrence. So now if you end up picking a 2, there are so many different directions that you can go in. But I don't think that the Jets are dead and buried missing out on Trevor Lawrence. It sucks. There's no question about it. But, and again, like I said to start the segment, there's still a lot of football to play. And we've seen some crazy upsets this year. The Jaguars beat the Colts in week 1, and now we see where these teams sit. 15 weeks later, the Jets beat the Rams last week. The Raiders beat the Chiefs. So any given Sunday, you never know what can happen. And we just have to hope that Minshew can provide some Minshew mania once again.